Metabuff just released their proof of concept, and I had to do something that was just as huge as this because, guys, I am so hyped. So, I bought a webcam. What's up, everybody? Arg the Pirate here, and today we're going to break down this proof of concept. Now, here we've got Twin Blast. Oh man, he looks awesome, looks absolutely amazing. Guys, that's Countess. That's Countess right there. Oh, look at this. If this is like a tier 5 skin, which, you know, where it changes her effects and things, oh, this is going to be awesome. I don't know what tier 4, tier 5, whatever it was. Oh, this looks amazing. I'm pumped for just this. I want to match. I want to play a game that's Countess only. You know, like, oh man, this looks amazing. And then we've got Crunch here, guys. Now, remember, I remember Crunch having like a broken down robot skin. I don't remember this piece though. So, and like he's got like a Punisher glow. Oh, this looks awesome. I kind of think this might be a new skin, guys. So, new Crunch skin, which Crunch is amazing. We've got Sevarog. Now, I remember Sevarog having the kind of white and blue hammer. I don't know if that was the case with that. It might be a new skin. We've got Muriel. She looks pretty standard, but amazing. This is Kallari. This is Kallari. Look at this. This is Ninja Dragon Kallari. Like, she looks like a Power Ranger. Freaking awesome. Like a bad guy for a Power Ranger anyways. This is the skin that I'm most pumped about, guys, though. Because I don't know if it's a skin. Now, hear me out. I'm thinking it's probably Chimera. You know, Chimera, he's wore Grux's head before. You know, he had the clown mask on. You know, he just puts different, you know, carcasses on his body, right? So we might have a dragon wolf-looking monster thing just on Chimera. And I'm thinking it's probably not Boris, right? Because it doesn't look like too much robot. Of course, there is like a cable-looking thing right here. But check this out. When you see his arm right there, and you can't really tell if that's an axe or like, you know, this big robotic arm thing or whatever. But we'll get into why I'm kind of hesitant on saying this is Chimera here in a second. Because, again, it doesn't really look like a human wearing a helmet, right? But we'll get into that in a second. Next up, we have Seraph, and oh man, look, Seraph, they've done a great job with her. Gadget, my favorite skin on Gadget, this looks so good. Decker, of course, which, you know, hey, no, Decker. And then we've got Greystone. Guys, check this out. Now, I don't remember, again, it's been a while since I played Paragon, but I don't remember Greystone having an armor skin with his new haircut, right? He was always wearing the Power Ranger suit, right? He had, where it was like technology and robot devices and whatever, whenever he'd do his ult. That's when he got his new haircut. He always had the long hair and looked like a, you know, just a dirty old, like, club or sword swinging maniac. He looks clean cut in a set of armor. Oh, this is awesome. I really like this. Okay, next one, we've got Gideon. Now, I remember Gideon having a red skin. I don't remember if this is the red skin that he had, but look at this, guys. Everybody liked Gideon. You know, he was the poster child. We've got FaZe. Now, this is the skin that came out with FaZe. Here, we got to go back a little bit. This was the skin that came out shortly after her release. It might have been like the day of her release, but it was the paid skin to where, you know, she had the little black and white little cat bear thing on her back, and very cool seeing this skin. Man, I'm so pumped. We've got Yin. Now, one thing about this is of course, I didn't play a whole lot of Yin, but check it out. We've got bats flying right here. I don't remember this with her ultimate, right? I first thought they were ninja stars, but I mean, that pretty much looks like a bat, right? I don't remember this skin. And, you know, bats, like, they did have that for the Halloween, where, you know, she was a mummy. Was that her only Halloween skin, was the mummy, the second year? I can't remember, but it looks like we've got an actual effect on her ultimate, not just the whirly stuff, unless I just never really noticed it. But that's very cool. It would be cool to be ninja stars because, you know, she looks like Melina or Katana from Mortal Kombat, which, hey. And then, guys, right here, this is what I'm talking about. Why would they put two chimeras in this slideshow, right? Like there's a bunch of other heroes to use. So that's why I think the dragon skin, or the dragon face that we couldn't really see. I'm thinking a new hero, or hey, I don't know. I just kind of don't think it's Chimera because, yeah, again, why would they show Chimera? Maybe a little bit of a teaser, which is very cool. Definitely pumped to see what Core has to offer, guys. Oh, man. But we're not even into the gameplay. And check this out. Murdoch with his doomy, sandstorm, Mad Max skin. I love Murdoch. I think everybody that played an ADC, Murdoch was probably most people's first hero to play, right? And now we've got this awesome skin because really you only had the Biomutant skin with the one, and then the one with the helmet. And the one with the helmet was just like kind of recolors that you couldn't see his face. And then the Biomutant, I believe there was two skins. There was like a red and a green one, I think, or red and blue. But this is a unique skin. Oh man, it kind of reminds me of like how Durango was. Just this wasteland guy. Now you've got Murdoch. Oh. But let's get into the real stuff, guys. Look at this. Is this Paragon? Like, this straight up looks like it's ripped out of Paragon, right? Look at this map. Oh, man. So, right here, which we'll look at this a lot more, we can see the towers in mid lane, which I'm going to kind of break this down a little bit coming up. But instead of having a light in, a dusk and dawn side, it looks like we have a blue and a red side. But instead, it's split left to right. It's split from, duo lane and solo lane instead of being split down the middle where it's team versus team. So that's kind of unique. Also, we've got these flowers and plants and trees. Now, if you see here, right here, there's a dead tree, right? And that kind of looks like that's the uniqueness of this, just mid lane. That's all we can really see. There's this unique dead tree right here. I'm pumped, guys. I'm pumped. We've got some staircases to go into the jungle, which, they were removed in Monolith, to where it's just kind of that pedestal that you just kind of fell off of. Now we've actually got these ramps to go up. Very, very cool. We can see here that the towers are in the style of Monolith. And I would even go as far to say is the tower area is the size of Monolith. We're not having those huge towers like we did in Legacy. So the map, just at first glance, it looks more like Legacy, but it's got elements of Monolith, which, again, this is a unique game. But we can kind of see here, we can kind of start forming ideas behind it. I definitely want to talk about this mid lane, but we get a better view here in a second. So let's go ahead and keep going here. Oh, this looks so good, man. Look at this. This looks so good. I'm going to go ahead and assume this is probably mid lane, the ramp to go up to mid lane because it looked elevated. Here we go. We've got, this is definitely one of the side lanes. But look at this elevation right here, guys. Look at this elevation that's actually in the tower. So you've kind of got a safe place. If you could stand right here, and if you're facing somebody like a Sevarog, that doesn't have a jump, there you go. You stand right here, and he's got to go all the way into tower to get to you. Of course, Greystone jump right over, so you better run. But, this is very, very cool. We can kind of see here, I'm going to, it doesn't really matter which lane this is, but it doesn't look like there's kind of a little off area where a Harvester is. Because, we are kind of talking about Legacy and Monolith. It looks like, if you remember, there was that kind of little side area that had a Harvester right there, and there was outplay potential and things like that right there. And depending on which lane this is, it changes things, but we're not seeing those side camps, the one either right here or right here. And I would just assume there's probably not one on the other side because it does look like a mirror match. So, or a mirror map anyway. So this is very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and keep looking here. And again, we have the new style of tower, which is very, very cool. We can see this is definitely mid lane because of the broken tree. And yeah, we've got the blue side, we've got the red side. Looks like there's a little bit of elevation here right in the center of the mid lane. So you run up to go down this way, or it looks like you might be able to come in right here, which again, in Legacy, there was really only kind of one entrance to mid, or, there was really only 2 or 4, I guess. You had the straight lane, and then you had the ways to come in on the side that ramped up with the shadow pool, right? Now, it looks like they've kind of gone a little bit back towards that, because in Monolith there was what, like 8 entrances. You could jump down from the top, and then you had the 2 back entrances. The 2 back entrances there, you could jump down from the top and then through the river and then the actual lane. So it looks like there's less ways to access mid lane. Of course, we'll have to play the map to actually be able to tell that. But yeah, it looks like you might be able to go here and over the top, and I would assume you'd be able to come in on that side and then go down here. So maybe just 4 entrances to mid lane, which definitely adds, a new element to the map, which is very, very cool. All right, let's keep going here. Oh, guys, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped about this. Oh, it looks so good. Look at this. You spawn up here and walk down. What's that remind you of? Oh, man. Here's the core. You've got your mid lane. You've got, you've got your little kind of ramp up here. So if you're not necessarily protecting your mid lane, but you want to stay engaged in that fight because they're pushing down that inhib anyways, you have kind of the safer option. And maybe, if they do start rotating over, you can jump over and head over to, your off laners or solo lane or whatever they're going to call it. You could head over that way. That's very, very cool. Definitely, no one has ever complained that there's too many places to jump off of, right? So very, very cool. All right, let's keep going here. Here's the core, baby. Here's the core. Looks awesome. You've got your entrances right here. They look absolutely amazing. This is what I wanted to break down, guys. Now, I thought about pulling out a piece of paper and drawing this and trying to have it, a little bit easier. Let's go back here. But look, so here's the core, right? Here's your towers, and here's the entrances to your jungle. Now, look how tight this jungle is, guys. Look at all these little cracks and entrances and things like that you can go through. Now, if you go forward a little bit, it actually turns into the real map. You can see that here, and you can't see all those little intricate details of the map. So let's definitely keep that backed up a little bit. But yeah, so you can see there's an entrance here, and then just one right here. And, that looks solid, but I'm thinking that's probably like an archway, right? So there might just be an arch over that. We've definitely got some camps right here with where these circles are. I would say these half moons are probably camps. That makes sense. But just guessing at that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side and another 4 on this side. And there might even be a camp on this side. So maybe 10 camps on each side. And this is really just halfway. So I think we've got a lot more in the jungle than we did. At the end of Monolith, really, we had there was 5 camps on one side and then just 2 camps on the other. And the one camp was actually accessible by the solo lane. It wasn't even in the fog wall. So, it looks like if there are going to be fog walls in core, I would say this camp is probably behind a fog wall, which does add a little bit to that. As well as, this is one thing that I definitely want to talk about, is look at this lane right here. Now, again, Legacy was definitely more of a straight shot, but we can see the tower sizes, and so I'm getting more of a feeling of maybe kind of a monolith flow of the game, if that makes sense. But this lane is not twisted, guys. This is a straight lane, which if you remember in Monolith, it had that S curve, right? And what that did was it slowed the minions down. So if the minions spawn in right here, it takes them 15 seconds to walk from T1 from the inhib to T1. And it only takes, 10 seconds for them to travel from the inhib to T1. Well, they created that S to kind of, artificially slow them down, right? They had to slow them down because they weren't running in a straight line. They were kind of zigzagging. So we don't have that here. So it looks like the mid lane might be much, much faster than it was in, let's say Monolith. And, which of course that has to do with minion speed and everything like that. But yeah, we're not having that artificial movement speed, slow down with that kind of S curve, which, no, it wasn't that big of a deal. But, you know, that's definitely something to consider. It just definitely caught my eye. But let's go ahead and keep looking here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. We've got these big pits right here just to the side of mid lane. And again, you can see it looks like there's really only this entrance in this entrance. You know, it's very difficult to tell. You might be able to come in here. But again, this is in the tower. You see that? This entrance is in the tower. It's not actually in the lane. So again, I think we're not getting near as many entrances in core as we are within Monolith, which I gotta say that might be okay. You know, again, in Legacy, you didn't have 8 options to enter a lane. You just really had the couple, you know. So this is very cool. I'm very excited to see that. Look at all these trees, man. This is very, very cool. And it is kind of hidden from above, which, you know, I don't know if that means anything, but very, very neat. Yeah, check this out, guys. You can see it right here. We've got our core, and look, or tower, I mean. But again, we've got that verticality. I'm pumped, guys. I'm pumped. I could break this map down forever. Now, this is very cool. This is testing, and if you see here, they're testing shots at different, you know, we've got 20%, 22, 24, 26. So he's shooting down, and we're seeing, you know, if there's drop, things like that. This is very, very cool. And again, guys, this is just a proof of concept. This isn't an alpha. And look how complete this looks. I'm so pumped. But you can see, though, the shots are going fairly straight. I'm excited about this. So, we're going to start this over. Now, what do y'all think right here when you see this? Do y'all think kiting is back? Because I sure do. Look at this. This Twin Blast is kiting these minions. You know, there's one hit, there's one hit, there's one hit. So, you know, in the time it took him to do several basic attacks, you know, he was getting those swings, but those swings might have not hit him. He might have actually got out of range of those hits because, you know, we're not seeing damage or anything. That is very cool. Kiting is back in jungle camps. Very, very cool. I'm excited about that. We've got his grenades, which of course they're bouncing. Very neat. Check this out, guys. So now I'm assuming what they're showing here is when you actually fire your projectile, right? Your basic attack or whatever. And you see Gideon is strafing, but that basic attack is still hitting that point that when it started when he threw it, right? So you're not getting this kind of drift motion where you kind of got to arc your basic attacks to hit what you're going because you're moving. Once that attack is actually thrown, it's kind of hitting that spot. And you can see this with that red indicator. As soon as that basic leaves his hand, boom, we get that red indicator. So that basic is going to hit that spot. You know, it's just something very neat. I don't know what these are, though. These little bubbles. You'll see them throughout this, and sometimes some will be charged up, others won't. You know, we don't have a HUD. We don't have anything like that. So, you know, it's very hard to tell. You know, we can't see abilities, but it's too hard to speculate about what that is. So, you know, let's leave that. But it's definitely something to consider. And again, yeah, we've got our health bar. We've got our mana bar. Very, very cool. This is a big clip right here, which we get more of it here in a second. But check this out, guys. So, Kallari right there. That was a basic attack, right? Now look at her run speed. She's still moving very, very quick. So I'm thinking we're going to have the movement speed more along the lines of Monolith, because this is definitely faster than Legacy, right? When you weren't in travel mode, this is travel mode speed. And so I think it looks like we're going to have a really good mixture of the two, because if I'm being perfectly honest, I think the flow of Paragon was probably the best in the first variation of Monolith. You know, the movement speed felt good. You know, there were certain, you know, the travel mode was it was kind of wonky, and the map was so big in Legacy that it took you forever to get anywhere. And, you know, yeah, travel mode just but this looks very cool. So, yeah, we're moving at a very, very quick pace. And I like this. Here we've got a little clip of mid lane. It looks like Durango's in there as well. Very, very cool. Now check this out. I would love to hear some in-game sound, but, you know, it's not quite there. Why does that keep popping up? Okay, but now, of course, again, guys, the core still has a bit to be developed. So we're not seeing a distinction between minion health bars or anything like that. But the one thing we can see is right here. This is still blue. He's definitely in Cole the weak range. So that means last hitting is now going to be a skill, not just an inherent thing that everybody gets. Very, very cool. And we can see how he is shooting. Look at this. He is shooting, and look at this movement speed, guys. Another thing we can see is we're not seeing the orbs when you kill a minion. We're not seeing the orbs go to the person, or, you know, that little line of magic light that gives you CXP or experience, whatever it's going to be now. We're not seeing that, so I don't know if that's going to be added, but it definitely, you know, minions are exploding right here, and, you know, that's always good to see. We could definitely see that little boot bubble. It's definitely got a smaller range, it seems like, but, you know, either way, who cares? Let's play some Paragon, baby. This is a very cool clip as well, because check this out, guys. There's one tower hit. You know, I would say that was a pretty substantial hit. You know, that you know, a quarter of your health, a little more than a quarter maybe. And then we've got another tower hit. It actually looked like the second tower hit might have been a little bit less. But just on this, you know, you're at half health. That means at level 1, because right here we can, I'm assuming that this is level 1, we could survive 4 tower hits at level 1, which to be quite honest, I don't know how many tower hits you could survive in Paragon, but that does seem like the tower hits a little bit less than it did in Paragon. I could be wrong about that, but it definitely does. But coming up, check this out, guys. Howie, he is no longer in tower range. It looks like right there, he hit that tower. Of course, you know, that might be a thing. Range might be reduced or something like that. But it looks like that basic actually hit the tower right there. It might just be me, but that looks like that explosion kind of happened on the other side of that, doesn't it? So hopefully you cannot hit the towers when you're out of the zone, or maybe your range is longer, but you have to be actually in the tower zone to be able to damage it, something like that. You know, that's definitely something to consider and look at. That might add a very big element to the game, because you might be able to stand out of the tower and still poke down that enemy. But again, this is just proof of concept. There is a lot more to be done with the game. So, you know, and you can't really see that basic fire all that well. But I'm going to go ahead and run that clip back again. But it kind of does look that way to me. Like here we see that basic go on the other side. And that one looked like it hit pretty close to the same spot. So we'll definitely see. Now this is awesome. Now everybody knows I played a ton of Muriel, right? Muriel's about to ult. And, you know, we can see the crosshairs and everything like that. Well, what is she ulting to? Look at this, guys. She just hit a tower. She just ulted to a tower. Now, you know, whatever way you want to think about that. You know, Muriel being able to ult to a tower. You know, Muriel's got terrible wave clear. She's not going to be able to save a tower very well. But, you know, she might be able to ult to a tower. Maybe even give a shield to that tower. And that just gives her team a split second to head over there, maybe flip that fight, something like that. That's a very cool ability. You know, it seems like a lot to use to just protect the tower, but, you know, let's say it's an inhib, something like that, and you're kind of doing your last hurrah. This might be super, super helpful. Very, very cool. You know, we'll see if this is an actual mechanic that ends up in the game, but yeah, she can ult towers. It doesn't look like it got a shield, but, you know, that's very hard to tell. Here's her little slow poke, and I mean, that looks so good. Check this out. This is Twin Blast in the lane with that verticality, man. Look at this. This is so cool. This is so cool. Here we are in the jungle. Now, guys, this jungle reminds me of Legacy. Look, these tight, narrow hallways. You know, if you picked a team fight right here and you were stuck in that hallway, oh, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. You know, no one can get in there to do anything. this is cool. You know, very, very tight, narrow hallways to get into those fights. You know, you get this sense of claustrophobic. You know, you're just in this little tiny area. Very, very cool. And then right here, we've got 4 minions in that camp. Now, I don't remember minions having 4 camps. You know, it was always the one big minion and the 2 side ones. Or, back in Legacy, man, I think there might have been some camps like that, but it's been so long, man. But yeah, 4 camps in a minion, or 4 minions in a camp. You know, and it would be nice to know if these camps are going to come in staggered. You know, Paragon was very unique in that aspect, where it's really the only MOBA out there that had those staggered spawns. Pretty much everybody else comes in, boom, you get all your spawns right away. And so that might add a different element, because you will be able to go, okay, this minion camp has a 2-minute cooldown. You know, in 2 minutes I need to be back at this camp, instead of I'm just going to let the camp stack up for the next 6 minutes because, you know, I don't want to waste my time taking out 1 minion. That would be very cool to see if all those minions are going to spawn in at one time, because yeah, you could definitely form more of a better strategy, a more better rotation as the jungler if you were guaranteed to know, you know, hey, I'm going to get all this farm in 2 minutes. I don't even need to go back and clear one at a time. A very cool idea, a very cool concept. I definitely want to check that out. Let's see what else. We've got Kallari in a camp, and you can see she's kind of kiting. We've got Chimera, and he's just running around like crazy. Definitely kiting minions. You know, that's definitely going to be a thing. It looks like the minions move pretty swift too, so that's always very cool. We've got some concept art. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. We've got some cool concept art. These are just things that they might, you know, ideas that they have that they can add into the map, or, you know, the background of the map. Look at this, guys. We've got like a futuristic city right here. You know, how cool would it be to play in that futuristic city? Like right here, boom, you've got these waterfalls, and this is Agora. This is, you know, or Core, whatever the name of the map's going to be called. This is what it looked like before, you know, doom and destruction rained down upon everything. And we might be able to go back and actually play before the, you know, entire city was blown up. That is so cool. Oh, well, I'm pumped, guys. I am pumped. I'm sure y'all can tell that. You know, we've just got a ton more concept art. This is very cool. Again, you know, it kind of looks like a city. It looks like that's really the theme that we're going for. Like, we're playing in the ruins of that city. I would love to see something like that. You know, we've got the dome, and, you know, this right here, this looks awesome. Now, I don't know. We could probably speculate about this, but look, we've got a single lane here. Maybe this is going to be some kind of other game mode map. You know, we've got maybe different biomes. Like, you know, here we go into the snow biome. Here we go into the desert, and then here you go. You've got the forest. You know, and you run from kind of this biome to biome. You know, kind of bubble thing. You know, just an idea. It looks awesome. It absolutely looks awesome. And you know. Look at this. I really like this. Here's Feng Mao, and boom, look at this, all done up in pretty, very, very cool fan art. Who's this guy? I haven't seen this guy before. Look at this, putting up a wall, punching people, and then punching people really fast. You know, he's a rock man. What was this? A Fantastic Four dude. You know, this is awesome. And then we have this earthquake. Oh, baby. Got a new main. I got a new main. Never even seen him. And of course, we have the closed alpha. Now, closed alpha has 10,000 subs, or 10,000, you know, members that can join it. That's huge, guys. That is massive. 10,000 is absolutely huge, and it's also PlayStation. That's all we can say. You know, now, I think it's fair to say that they have an agreement with PlayStation. I don't think in any way that anybody can confirm that it's going to be on PlayStation. I think that's very big. But if you see here, we have the agreement. That means the process has started to begin. PlayStation is very kind of silly with all their rules. You got to get your ducks in a line and everything like that. And it looks like Metabuff has at least started that process, guys. This is absolutely huge. Me, as a content creator, I got to see, I had a lot of people, we had a ton of people on Discord back in the day. I had a handful of subs, and I got to see there were so many PlayStation players. Especially since I started YouTube on PlayStation, there was just a massive PlayStation community. This is huge, and I think if you are a PlayStation player, I would definitely keep an eye out for it. And I, of course, will be covering as much as I possibly can. So, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.